Here at Windsurf, we've always been focused on the enterprise customer over the last couple of years, and that has not changed. The first thing to state is that our primary goal at Windsurf is to eventually accelerate the entire software development lifecycle by 99%. Of course, we're not there yet, but if we talk about our product philosophy, the way that we think about it is that there are hundreds of different tasks in the software development lifecycle that can and will eventually be accelerated by AI. But at the same time, AI technology is not perfect today, and we like to be realistic about that. So we look at the subset of tasks where the AI technology today is capable of solving those tasks robustly in production that match user trust for enterprises. That's an incredibly important balance to kind of strike, and our focus is always to understand where is this new frontier of the technology and always be the first company and the first startup to be able to ship capabilities that capture that frontier. You've seen a few examples of that over the last 12 months, whether it was with Cascade, our agentic system in the Windsurf editor. It was the very first GA'd product for this agentic world that we now live in. And even recently with our launch of SWE-1, our own frontier model for software engineering that again is pushing the boundaries of what is possible for this technology today that can actually add value to the end users. And there's lots of examples of this of our product development. And so we really are betting at the end of the day on velocity, that we will be that team that constantly understands where this frontier is and can deliver on that frontier. Because in a space that's moving this quickly, that is by far the most important thing, that we can consistently make sure that we are giving our customers the best technology possible that they can trust. Our second general, maybe more goal, is our approach to the market, especially for the enterprise market. There's various companies out there that take both a top-down or a bottoms-up approach to the market. What we've generally realized is that we're in a very unique position where we can actually deliver both. And this way we can add value to both executives at our enterprise customers and then of course also the individual developers. So what we've made sure we've been able to build internally is both an incredibly strong go-to-market team with deployed engineers, a strong partner ecosystem, sales enablement, all of those kind of pieces in order to be able to actually help interface with executives at these enterprises to solve their problems. But at the same time, have an incredibly strong engineering team and product that is also giving the absolute best experience to the end developers. And so from this kind of approach, what we're hoping to do is, as we address the market, we're able to add value to the developers, add value to the enterprises, and therefore solve entire enterprise problems. So it's kind of our unique approach that we're able to do given the composition and nature of our company. And it's another key theme of how we approach the market. The third general theme to talk about, which will be very clear as you watch through the demos of today, is that enterprises require a little bit more to the product than just the individual hobbyist developer. There have been tons of startups that have popped over the last year that have really been targeted to the individual hobbyist developer or even the vibe coder. But what we realize is that for enterprises, there are problems of scale, problems of security, problems of adoption that are frankly very different than what an individual developer would care about. So we spent a lot of time investing in things like better security postures, being the first tool to have FedRAMP high authorization, having a cluster in Europe, having a hybrid deployment. These are all things that we uniquely do in order to match, again, enterprise constraints around the adoption of these tools. We've also leaned into our infrastructure background in order to make sure that we're actually building systems and tools that can operate at enterprise level scale. These include systems to reason over hundreds of millions of lines of code, which is obviously something an individual developer building a side project wouldn't need. Whether this is a semantic LLM search that can scan through files and snippets of code in seconds, or understanding code bases using advanced techniques like AST parsing. These are all things that we have placed quite a bit amount of effort in order to build so that enterprises can have more grounded results. We've also focused on how can we take our very generic agentic platform and make it customized to an individual enterprise, because every enterprise has very different tasks and different ways of doing things. So whether these are things like workflows or rules or memories or MCPs, these are all things that we have built and often been the first to build into our tools because these are particular problems that enterprises face significantly more than individual developers. And really the last big problem is around adoption. What we've learned over the last year is that many companies have adopted a tool, some tool. Maybe it's our tool, maybe it's another tool. But if we think about it, developers haven't been trained to work with an AI 24/7. This is slightly unnatural. And while parts of these tools are intuitive to use, other parts are not, even if they're significantly more valuable. So we've invested a lot of time, again, in our own internal go-to-market team, working with partners, building self-serve enablement material, very deep, understandable analytics in order to make sure that our customers can adopt this technology at scale. Because the worst thing is that we build a phenomenal product, but people don't actually know how to use it. So these are all things that are very specific to an enterprise product, and how an enterprise product enters into the enterprise that we've spent a lot of time focusing on over the last 12 months and longer, and will continue to do so.